Hey everyone, this is Kaylin, and this is my submission for SGDQ with my PB in Mario Party Minigame Island any %. So this is a really fun run to do, and I think a lot of us grew up playing this game, so it's personally one of my favorites. I put a lot of time into it when I was a kid, and I don't know, there's a lot of really cool optimizations that you can do to make this game go a lot faster than it normally would have been when you were playing it as a kid. So some of these games, especially the first couple, are really dependent on just coins. So you'll notice in this one, I jump around hitting as many of the blocks as I can. You want to try and get one hit on at least every block, and that way they'll disappear faster. So that's a really good example of that. You only need 10 coins to progress. It can be a little tricky, but it's not too bad. And then you'll also notice you can lead to the next level. So you want to start walking before you even have the ability to, and then of course spam A, and then start to get into the level as quick as possible. This is another example of just needing coins. You only need 10 coins to win this level. Getting the bags is the best because they're worth 5 each. And I got lucky here, I got 2 bags right in a row, so now my objective is really just to break all the blocks as quickly as possible. It's not too big a deal if you get more than the coins you need. It takes microseconds to count coins after minigames, so... And then this next game, I feel like as a kid, I thought that if you fell off it was an immediate game over, but that's not the case. This is another coin game, so all you have to do is collect 20 coins and just count along with it. So that's what I'm going to be doing here, pretty much. I like to try and run circles or 8s around the flower to try not to get it so that it's tipped as much as it is right now. I find it to be a little easier to just keep it as balanced as possible, and then you can just jump off as soon as you've counted out your 20 coins. And then this next minigame, spin to win games, because they are the best. I'm playing this on emulator for PBs, just because that's what most people do their runs on. It's a little bit easier because I'm using an Xbox One controller. If this does get into SGDQ, then we will of course be playing on N64, but yeah, it's fun to rotate. And you only need to get 5 hits on this. You just need to finish with 15 or more coins. And I think I actually got 18 coins on this. I got really good times in all of World 1 for this run, which is surprising because I had pretty good times in my previous PB. My early game in my PB was really, really good. So to get ahead for all of World 1 was surprising. This game can be hit or miss. You can get some pretty good patterns in it. It's nearly impossible to lose to it, and then I made some mistakes like not ground pounding immediately there. And my PB had the most amazing pattern I could have asked for. So I think I do lose some time here, but it's still not bad because this was a decent pattern, I think. And I don't think, did I get Bowser on this? Yes. Yes, I did. Alright, so yeah, we end up losing a decent amount of time. Running against this PB has been kind of crappy because my previous time did have just really, really solid times across the board all throughout the early game. But as you'll see in this run, I can make up a lot of time later in the game. So it ended up being a really good time. And this is a pretty good pattern. There are way better patterns. If you can have them all right next to each other, that's of course the best, but as long as you have a pretty good line thought out for which way you're going, it's a pretty quick minigame no matter where they're set up. And so there are slight differences in each level that I think will make a race more interesting. They're not very big time losses in between them, so Limbo's a really good example of that. I believe there are 3 different courses that you can get in Limbo. And you kind of want to just go as fast as possible at the start and then keep teetering on that, like, almost fall over. Okay, so I did get the best course on Limbo. That's the fastest one. So that was pretty nice. There are little elements of RNG to this game, but nothing is really game-breaking or run-ending. Definitely not run-ending. Most of the mini-games that do have RNG are pretty quick, so if for some reason you get screwed, it's not completely devastating to do the level over again. And this was a pretty short song on this one for me. Usually, like, getting about a half a rotation around the mushroom is pretty average for that, but it can go shorter or longer. And then this is actually an example where the course isn't as, like, different every time. This course is the same every single time. I'm not even sure that you can get above a certain top speed. Like, you can only go so fast in this level. And a lot of people don't actually know this, and I don't do it myself. I don't think it saves any time. But the vines that are hanging at the top of the screen, you can actually jump up and grab and swing ahead on them. I actually didn't know about that until I saw Bird650 do it in one of his runs, and it was absolutely mind-blowing, because I played this game when it came out. The next level coming up is one that has 3 different versions. So you can either get a Goomba, a Bomb, or a Ghost. Bomb is the fastest, Ghost is the second fastest, and Goomba is the slowest. And I got a Bomb in my PB, so I was pretty glad to get one here as well, because I knew I would still be saving time, or at least on track to. And I think I got a really good score on this. This one's pretty difficult to get a 100 on, because even when you think it's perfect, the computer goes haywire. So yeah, I only got a 92 on that, and that was pretty dang close, so that one's really, really impossible to fail, for the most part. Like, you'd have to really mess up the outline. This level can have some RNG. Mainly, you just have to dig as fast as you can. It's usually best strategy to just go towards the center. Other CPUs will, or even yourself, will open up signs like that point where it is. Having it be right in the middle next to me was good RNG there. And then this is on emulator. Epilepsy warning, please look away. For some reason this level on emulator flashes. There's another level later that'll do the same, so like I said, we'll be playing this on N64 if we get into SGDQ, so this won't be an issue, but I just want to make sure that warning was out there, and I'll say something before the next level that does it as well. This is really simple, just back and forth. And then everyone's favorite level up next. I'm sure we all really enjoyed doing this as kids and, you know, tearing all of the flesh off of our palms, of course. So I believe the fastest that you can actually pull them off the cliff here is at 26 seconds. Getting it at 23 is pretty good. I can usually get a 25. It just depends. there doesn't seem to be much rhyme or reason to what the best way to rotate on that level is. And then this level is pretty cool. So you'll notice once I actually get control of Mario on the second platform, you don't need to jump. So this first platform you can just slide on and that's faster. And then you can do the same thing at the end. Most of it's just waiting for the platform to tilt and then running forward and jumping, but this level is deceivingly difficult. So you see here, you just wait a second for the platform to fall and then just run forward. And that shaves a little bit of time off from the jump. And this next level coming up is the second level to have the epilepsy warning, so heads up on that. I don't think it's actually possible to beat the CPUs off the line here, no matter how fast you're tapping. So you can drift off their bobsled a little bit. I mean, they can drift off you after you do it as well, but that first corner is the easiest to get around them on and gives you the lead for the rest of the race. That and the CPUs are really bad at driving, so that helps. And I don't think I mentioned it because I was introducing the game, but the only reason you choose Mario and Luigi is because they are the first picks on the character sheet. So you just spam through that at the beginning. Not necessary to pick another character.
Finish.
And hey, we got a new record. Look at that. This next level is just a spam fest, and timing your jumps. This was always one of my personal favorites as a kid.
Ready? Go!
This one's pretty basic. Of course, you skip the money. I don't need any extra money. And I've seen some upsets in this minigame, but it's pretty consistent overall.
Finish.
This next game is interesting, so it's mainly just a spam fest,
Ready?
but
Go!
you have to hold right or left on corners, which seems pretty simple, but some of the camera angles on this level try to trick you up. Like, when the camera keeps pointing the other way on this, you still have to be holding just left or right. Even though you kind of want to orient yourself with the camera, that'll just make you fall off.
Finish.
And while the CPUs are really usually good at the minigames, I see them fall off on that one constantly. So this next game, you just need to pick the boo that is the actual boo. It's always going to be the one to move first. It's totally possible to pick it on the first round of movement. In fact, I knew which one it was, but I still wanted to double check. I usually wait until the second round of movement, just because it's faster to wait for that than to have to do the level over again because you rush and pick the wrong one first. So we're going to be going on to World 6 now. In any percent, you do not have to do World 5. In fact, we could have gone to World 5 before World 3, which is what you do in 100%. But we just skip right on by. Box Mountain Mayhem can be pretty hit or miss. If you're fast and just break blocks quickly, you'll almost guaranteed get the 10 coins. But it can be tricky. It's a pretty fast level though, so if you do fail it, you don't lose too much time. And I did fail it here, so yeah, I did end up losing time here actually. I tend to have pretty bad RNG on this level myself, especially with like getting blocks that'll break open with bags. So I usually just try and keep hitting blocks and hope I get the 10 that I need. And I got the bag at the end there, so I'm pretty sure that saved me. So I'm 19 seconds behind, but like I said, my early game was so good that I have a ton of time saved later on. This is our final spin to win minigame, thankfully. Probably gonna need to get myself gloves for this if we're doing it on N64. I'd say this is probably the more mild of the spinning games, though. You don't have to go super ham on that. This is actually one of my least favorite minigames. It's really simple. I'm still terrible at it. But I believe I pulled this one off, luckily. Nah, it's pretty simple movement overall.
Finish.
Now, Hop a Bomb can have some RNG to it. The bomb is not actually timed, so it changes when it's set to go off. I think it's something in between, like, 11 to 16 throws, give or take. Best strategy is really to just hold a direction and spam A. Kind of match those buttons so you just keep throwing.
Finish.
Bomb skip ball is exactly what it sounds like. Get to the other side and shoot the bomb in the basket. CPUs are incredibly smart in Mario Party. There will be some good examples later of how smart the CPUs are. This is the focus face minigame. You have to be on your toes for this game. There are better positions to be in for this one. Personally, being in this position is my favorite. Being at the very, very front is the worst, I think. It's harder to gauge when to jump at the front of the line. The position DK is in is decent, and then Peaches is about the same, but definitely the one that I got for this level was the best. And it'll speed up a lot, and then slow back down, and then it'll repeat the process. The timing on this is pretty easy, and there are triggers for when to jump. It's easiest for me to just time my jumps with the CPUs, but I also sometimes use spots on the ground like stones when the flames line up with them. This would be a good spot to read donations, because none of us will be able to talk. So I believe I failed basketball in my prior PB, so getting that time save back was awesome. This level is not RNG. As soon as Mario stops spinning around dizzy, you can hit the block, so as soon as he faces forward, you can jump. And then what you want to do is just hit the block when it's 2 items before the one you want. And that was pretty fast, but you get used to it. Crane game requires a very, very specific rhythm to tapping. And a little bit of luck. I personally don't think any of the CPUs are harder than others, although Wario tends to give me more troubles than most. So maybe that's not true. But it was really nice to have Yoshi right in front of the crane there. It's not too big of a time loss if they're further away. It's a much bigger time loss if you drop them. This next level can be pretty difficult. It depends on how complex the layout of the pipes is. You just gotta be able to follow it up fast enough.
Finish!
And we have some really big time saves later. Bowling is a fun minigame. There are other courses you can get that have a lot more curve in them. This one is my personal favorite, and most of the CPUs were stacked pretty close together at the beginning and they kept lined up, so
Finish!
they can sometimes be really tricky and they'll all jump together initially and then one will jump off on its own, which is great. So initially, the way a lot of us used to do this level is it takes 25 coins to win this, that's all you need. But we found it's faster, instead of just getting the 25 coins, trying to play whack-a-mole with as many piranha plants as you can. It actually makes the next ones come out sooner, so it's better to just try and knock them all out. And I got decent patterns for knocking them down as well, so... Mario Bandstand is pretty standard. As player 1 in Minigame Island, you will always be the conductor. And all you do is press in the direction that the music notes are being hit when the square hovers over them. World 8 has some of my favorite minigames, and my absolute favorite minigame, actually. Running out of the bulb. Actually, not too difficult. CPUs are downright dumb sometimes, but you can kind of run circles around the level, so even I've completed this level even when having all 3 CPUs ghosted. And I did not mean to get hit by that Blanc there, but luckily I got up in time. Really, you can just run circles around while the CPUs try and do stuff. And then you can see up in the right corner, pretty much as soon as you see the red arrow, you can run up and that'll trigger the completion.
Finish. Clear.
This is another coin minigame. You need 15 coins to move on to the next level. So run around and snatch people's money. So I've got my 15 coins. Gonna dodge. Hey, Peach, come on. So here we're gonna see a great example of just how amazing the AI is in Mario Party 1. Man. I mean, in all fairness, it was really amazing AI back then. Just look at it. Look at how good it is. Fantastic.
Finish. Clear.
Keep Away is a freebie minigame. There is almost always a direct line to the finish. I do think I jump over one. Yeah, barely.
Finish. Clear.
So Balloon Burst is coming up. This game is surprisingly difficult. You have to get a really good rhythm going with the pump. I've found a really good way to kind of roll my finger from A to B that gives me the best rhythm. But it's really, really easy to lose track and start going too fast and not filling the pump the full way.
Finish. Clear.
And next we have my favorite minigame of all time, which is Facelift. It is also a freebie minigame. Nearly impossible to mess up. My chat usually says reset if I don't get a 100 on it.
Start.
It was one of those games I always enjoyed getting when I was playing against friends. And plus, who didn't love messing with Mario's face at the beginning of SM64? It's the same thing.
Finish.
So we didn't have to reset. It's good, because this is a good run right now. Resetting would have sucked. I feel like this is Grab Bag 2.0, but really it's not. This will be another just amazing example of the AI in Mario Party. Which is funny because some minigames the AI is exceedingly difficult against. Some games it can be cheesed pretty hard. And as long as you finish that minigame with at least one coin, you'll win. So, even if you get hit 3 times, you're good to go. And we are in the final world now. This is another coin-based minigame. You only need 10 to win, so you can get the 10 and just jump straight off. You can get pretty lucky, which I did not. I was not getting any of those bags when I was jumping. But I do get one. Just a second. And I had a really bad time in my PB for that level, so this just saved me 3 minutes now, altogether. So that was pretty huge. And Slot Car Derby was the object of my hatred in my childhood. I had so many issues playing this when I was a kid, and I don't now. You just lay off a little bit when you start to spin out. Even if you just tap off for a second and then start going again, it usually prevents you from spinning out. Even if you lose momentum, as long as you don't spin out, this is almost a guaranteed win. As long as you can follow shells, you're pretty good in this minigame. You just have to watch the one that has the coins. We're down to just the last couple of games here. This one is pretty quick. I did fail it, I believe, at least once on my PB. Usually if you fail it, it's not too big of a time loss. But we saved a lot more time even there, so we're almost 4 minutes ahead now. We're getting pretty close to world record. Bird 650 has world record at, I believe, a 34:43? No, not 43. 34 something. 34:56. Kinda wanna check now. Regardless, you can leave all the CPUs behind here. You just gotta run and jump quickly for that one. And then we are at the final Toad race, so not much to say here. As soon as you go over the finish line with this, that is time. Toad race is just a different map for Slot Car Derby. And Toad is fast. Pretty cut and dry. But yeah, I feel like this would be a great game to have in for a race at SGDQ. Myself, Bird, Pants, and Prism are all runners for this game with fairly good times. Bird is of course the world record holder, and all of us are like top 5, top 6 for any percent and 100%. So I think combination of the optimizations in this game and a little bit of RNG to spice it up will just make it really great for SGDQ, and hope to see you in there. Yeah. Take care, guys. Have a good one.